Mic test, mic test. Am I live? Oh my goodness, I think I am live. Alright, hello everybody. So, just know that, you know, hold on, let me turn the music off a little bit. Okay, so just know that, you know, if you're watching this in the future, everything I talk about will be timestamped in the comments and in the description, and today's goal is to try to get everything done within 30 minutes. Because, there isn't too much to talk about, so yeah, but I mean, it's no less important, right? So so today we'll be going over the new Yoshi Mecha in EN, as well as how, you know, as well as Nanase Awaken, plus what else? Plus just Magenta X, as well as Lingzu Retrofit, which I didn't touch on the last video for Just Magenta, which I apologize, because yeah, it is not, you know, it is nothing too special, right? So okay, so give me 1 second, let me set everything up, and let me see if I can, oh, I don't have a thing on. Oh wait, hold on, my VTuber model is not here yet. Oh, hello, welcome. Okay, so, you can see I'm testing on a lot of stuff today. I got a new PC, so I am, testing on a lot of, you know, stuff, so, what's it called, I guess let's get started. So the new mecha. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm gonna turn the audio off for now, because I need a better way to, I guess, get audio, because right now I think it's a bit too loud. Actually, I think I'm probably turn it down a little bit. Give me 1 second. Meow,欢迎. Let's put it down like this, and hopefully, all right, hold on. I need to turn on the music for Ian as well. Give me 1 second. Yeah, you go. Whatever. So, Yoshi. Because, yeah, the music is... Hold on. The music is really loud. But I hope this is fine, I hope. But anyway, so Yoshi, look, I'm not gonna get into his chassis because there's way too much. Just know that, it got, you know, extremely high from the first chassis. It got extremely high, final defense reduction from it being double if it has the malice, layers. And of course, you know, it will do damage, you know, from the layers burn. I mean, for detail, you can just look into it, but it is nothing too special. Like all 4 of his chassis is not too special, but because there's 4 of the chassis, like 4 very strong chassis, it just got everything, right? So Tiger once every 4 seconds, it will just do additional damage based on the, you know, based on self max HP. So this means HP is actually important for this mecha as well. But the thing is that, right? But at this point, every mecha that coming out, HP is important, so I wouldn't really go into this anymore. So, you know, like for some HP, you know, you know, having more HP, giving more damage, it's not something that I will go into, like, as in like something that is like necessary anymore, but it is something that you assume every future mecha does that. So yeah. Alright, so now, so the first of his, okay, the second chassis that he has, the Tiger one, just do more damage, which is, you know, pretty awesome. I mean, pretty awesome for this mecha, I guess, and not so awesome for any, you know, for any other mecha. And then, I think the other one is Dragon, right? So Dragon, immediately after unleashing X-Ult, greatly boosts action continued. Basically, the anti-CC, the anti-force CC protection, you know, the CC where you will get hit, you know, where you'll get force knockdown, where you get force spin, and all that, you know, it will immune to that. And this is very important. This is probably the strongest skill it has, because this is literally use XO, be immune to borderline everything that will throw at you into this. I mean, there are still CC that can, you know, that can go through it, but most of the CC in the game are the thing that I guess cut the action's continuity. So it just being immune to pretty much everything every time you use XO kind of just make it a bit broken, considering usually you're just spamming XO. That means most of the time it might just be, you know, be immune to everything most of the time, as long as it is able to move, you know. So pretty awesome, pretty strong, another strong skill over here. And what else? And the next one is Phoenix, right? No, hold on. I know. I think it might be Phoenix. Okay. Oh, also, yeah, this one. Okay, that move not just give you what's called I guess, you know, the anti-CCs, right? It also give you HP steal, which is pretty important. Well, not HP steal, HP removal, which is pretty important into this meta, because, you know, some mecha literally require you to have, or at least for fusion mecha, literally require you to have, you know, HP removal in order to actually kill anything, right? Or in order to actually do damage. So on top of, you know, it having damage scaling with the HP, you also have HP removal that is scaling with the HP, which is, again, very, very strong. Again, it is a mecha that pretty much got every single thing under its belt, so yeah. And of course, Phoenix 1 every 4 seconds, you know, record real time HP, and then you'll gain immunity, you know, just the usual, you know, the usual 2-second immunity for every 2-second cooldown and such, on most of the mecha nowadays. But, you know, this side, you know, this unit also can record real time HP, and you can also replenish HP plus 10% when, you know, when it receives an attack, which is, again, look, I don't know what to say, it got everything. It got, you know, it got survivability, it got damage, it got HP removal, it got anti-4 CC, so it is literally, quite literally, an all-rounded unit that can do every single thing that you can imagine. So, yeah, if you couldn't tell already, this unit is really strong. However, this unit actually came out later, maybe because it is pretty strong. But a lot of things here, right? A lot of chances here are actually not, like, when compared to, let's say, Gunbusters, right? Gunbusters actually has more coverage, in terms of PvP, right? Has more coverage than Yoshi. Because the thing with Yoshi is that all 4 of the chances are quite straightforward. They are just strong for the sake of strong. While for Gunbuster, right? Gunbusters have this kind of little stance that is quite a gimmick that can, I guess, be useful in a lot of other... I mean, this unit can also be useful, I mean, this unit is useful in all other things, but it's just like units after this unit, like, yeah, units after Yoshi are, for example, Gunbuster that's supposed to come after Yoshi, if I remember correctly, are just it's us BS. Like this, like everything in the future, or a lot of things in the future, actually make Yoshi, I guess, a staple. Like Yoshi is like the, how do you say, is the new era. It's a unit for the new era that is for every future, or for a lot of the future units to come, you know, to be even stronger than this. Like, this is the base unit, this is the Gundam, and then, you know, everything else in the future are, you know, stronger than this, or at least, you know, have something of a gimmick and such. So, Evie, welcome. Also, yeah, welcome everybody, welcome the boys, welcome. So, yeah, but with that being said, this unit is still a very strong unit, you know, for any kind of player, right? Even though this unit did came late in Eon, you know, for new players, you can already do everything that you really want them to do. And I believe, no, okay, for at least for a while, I think this unit are, well, depending on when Wataru come, right? Depending on when Wataru comes, Yoshi should be still a very good top DPS and a top DPS DC, as well as a really good PvP unit as well. So yeah, for any kind of player, this unit is very good. You know, you can tell already. And then now for the weapons, nothing too crazy. I know that its second weapon upgrade is not necessary, but I think it actually does a good bit of damage. I mean, you know, most of the weapon now kind of does do a good bit of damage now. So yeah. But it's nothing too crazy. But you know, you got sword melee, you got fist melee, you got what else? You got, yeah, so yeah, not a lot of selections of, you know, the of like this melee weapon type. You only got sword and fist, but you know, most of the time sword and fist are, you know, pretty enough for most of the situations. So. But you know, it having a lot of these actions just means that you can change a lot of, you can exchange a lot of actions, or for some of these action, you can exchange a lot of, you know, weapons in the hand, and that can potentially give you more damage in PvP, and just, you know, and just stuff overall. So, alright, now onto the action. I don't think anything is too crazy. I know his, I mean, all of them are good. Like all of them are really, really good. However, I don't think any of them are too crazy that much. However, it's X old. If I remember correctly, right, it's X old. In some rare occasions, it can cut anti-4 CCs somehow. Now, I don't know if this is fixed or not, but I was seeing the instance of that even in recent standards. So yeah, maybe perhaps they have a different kind of CC. Perhaps you know whatever happens, right? But overall, it is just an I would it's just an above average action skill, especially for Exalt, which is definitely above average. The biggest problem is that though, is Exalt, right? Like is Exalt, the animation is a bit too long to a point where after the 3 seconds, you know, look at that charge up, right? That is already more than 3 seconds. And that means by the end of the action, you know, when the big explosion and the Phoenix came out, there might be a chance. I mean, usually, the anti-4CC's protection from, what's called, from its dragon chassis will basically stop to exist, and you know, in those times, if you were to attack something like a Chitian or something, or basically something, you know, 4CCU, then you can still be cut out of the action because the 3 second duration of the anti-4CC has already passed. However, you know, you can remedy these by, you know, by builds, you know, by using units like, you know, Hongwu, you know, Wink Wink and such. You can like Wink Wink Nudge Nudge, you know, Hongwu speed up the actions, and you can potentially finish it, you know, finish the interaction within 3 seconds, so the interaction is protected. So very, very buildable, I should say. I mean, buildable as in like just using Hongwu basically. So, but yeah, overall, yeah, pretty awesome. I think that should be TLDR of Yoshi. Let's just alright. Now let's get into the builds. Now for the builds, let me see if I can find it. So for the builds. Now, this is just the basic Hongwu build. Well, not exactly basic. I mean, it is kind of basic, but yeah, just Hongwu and then use the action. And because Yoshi actually changes a lot of hands on its action, so this is the best core for it. I don't know what the English name for this core is, but it looks like this. You can find it in the Moonlight Badge. You can also find it in, you know, somewhere else, as long as this has, you know, been acquired in EN. Now for free to play, right? For free to play, you can just obviously use, you know, hydraulics. Now I know, you know, you want HP for Yoshi, but look, you're free to play, or if you're free to, or if you're a new player, right? Then I don't think that matters that much. You can just rely on it just being a good unit to just carry you through things. And I guess you also wouldn't need Hongwu, but I would still say, you know, using hydraulics is probably the best for new players. And for free to play, right? For free to play, you probably have some of this purple joint lying around, so you can probably use this if you don't have this core yet, because you know this core is fairly new for now. And because you're most likely using it on Hongwu action cooldown, or like if you're a top player, you're most likely using it on Hongwu, so action cooldown is actually pretty important, which I'll get into, you know, later down in the build. So, and now on to its bullets. Now its bullet, look, it can already do everything. It can already do damage. It can already HP steal. You can do more damage using, you know, using even more higher range, but you can also, you know, just do more CCs using bigger shot. Now, I think it might be better to use this for now because you just do more damage overall, because you know that's a good 38% more damage, or 38 points more damage, more final damage value after Prim Steel still. And of course, the extra range can also be pretty useful as well. So I'm just gonna put it here for now. And now onto its support. Nothing. Okay, yeah, support, armor, and coatings. Nothing gonna change here. I already talked about all the reasons why these are pretty necessary in all of the, you know, in all of the how do you say, in all of the past videos, you know, on the Mecha. And now for the pets. Pisces are, I think, or the double fish are, I think, the most safest in most situations, because you know there's still a chance that, you know, it can still get one shot by, you know, whatever, right? By the other scary stuff by the other scary stuff nowadays. But you can definitely use Pisces to put in, because you know you will be doing damage for this unit, so using Pisces can also give you just some extra more I guess protections against, you know, enemies Yoshi or something like that, or enemies, you know, for example, Gunbusters, right? That can potentially one-shot this unit pretty quickly, honestly. And now onto its co-pilot skill. Now the co-pilot skill is also pretty high. Another pet that I can use if you're not like if you are let's see, I mean, I don't really think there's a free to play pets, but this pet it's also usable because you know you just reduce the overall cooldown, or I guess the overall cooldown for the for Hong to spend more actions, right? Oh, Vester, welcome, Sylvester, welcome. Also, I forgot to talk about the free to play. Okay, so anyway, okay, so let's finish talking about the co-pilot skill first. So co-pilot skill also I recommend using now I know G-Stone give you more, and you know G-Stone give you 20% here. Where's G-Stone? Where's G-Stone? Yeah, I know G-Stone give you 20% here. However, not everyone have G-Stone, and so you just want to find the next best action cooldown, especially if you're using Hongwu, right? So I'm using her support, give 15% action cooldown, and of course you can also use what's it called her special. No, wait, hold on. Yeah, her special also give 10%. So these two are the good options you can use. Of course, you know, it'll depending on the pilot that you use on it, but personally, Hongwu is always the best pilot for, you know, Yoshi most of the time. Alright, now let's get into the free-to-play build, because I don't think I do that too often, right? So free-to-play build. What is new player builds, right? Because if you're a free-to-play can still get all of this, like, not easily, but like you can still get to this point where you can get all of this. You know, for the Hongwu Awaken, you can definitely get it. A good co-pilot for it, you can definitely get it. And you know, the pets, and all these parts, you can definitely get it for as a free-to-play as when you play for a long time. But what's it called? So I'm just gonna get, yeah, you know what? I will just for coding, hydraulics I think is the best. Just spam your way out of the stuff for now. And if you want to do DPS, then use something like the Majin Core. Or if you want to, I guess, use this one. The one that adds damage to no one. But I think even for boss, if you're a new player, hydraulic might actually be better, so you can spam more action. Spam more powerful actions, right? And then now for the what's it called? And now for the bullets. Now for the bullets, just use something like the one that gains you HP as you attack. So where is it? Where is it? Wait, hold on. Which one? Whichever one that is, the one that give you HP back as you deal normal and explosive damage. Whichever one that is, definitely use that. But the thing is, I'm not sure. Did I like dismantle it or something? Because it should be here unless they change something. Which I don't think they would. Whatever, right? You guys will know what I'm talking about if you get it. Like, they're not really rare parts, so yeah. And now for the support, probably just something like this. Something just enter more CCs, and that should be good enough. And then now for the coatings, if you can get firm steel, that would be nice. But if not, honestly, just get firm steel. Yeah, if you can, just try to get firm steel as soon as possible. If not, just get the one with the most HP and it should be good. And now for the, or maybe tuning fork, but tuning fork wouldn't really work, against other, most units nowadays, right? And now for the coatings, just the one that give you the most HP should be fine. And for the pets, just honestly whichever pet you have, because would be better. Like, I wouldn't waste resources to try to get a pet right away. You eventually get all the pets that you need, by just playing the game for for a while and such. And co-pilot skill, again, just get the best one that you have that has action cooldown, and it should be good. Alright, so hold on. I'm gonna just build a PvE build real quick because I forgot to build a PvE build actually. So give me a second. I'm just gonna put her in this real quick, and then. So let's say if you want to build for PvE, right? So let's what's a good PvE support? So PvE support. So this is not DPS. This is support for now, and new players, I wouldn't really like. I don't think this matters that much yet. But for PvE players, just something like this should work. So let's start with build support. Let's go with PvE support, not just something like this, something like this, something like probably. Or use something else here as well. But you know, some bosses now are a bit finicky, so you definitely want to keep that into considerations as well. Okay, it might be actually safer to use this one because again, some bosses now are a little bit more, you know, finicky now, so it might not be a good idea to, you know, be too how do you say, you know, be too crazy, right? So yeah, something like this, right? Something like this can definitely be a PvE support build. Should be pretty straightforward, and just use something like just something like this, right? Like if you want to use it as a PvE support. And now for the DPS, so let's go so let's go on DPS. I'm just gonna change it for Slokai. I mean for Linda's. Alright, where is she? There you go. So first, yeah, just use this one, and then use not this one. Use this one, and then use the fist, the purple. If you had a green fist, you can also use green fist. It gives the same amount of melee damage increase. Probably firm steel, but if you want to be crazy, you can definitely also use. Well, actually no, because HP might actually matters a lot more for DPS potentially. You might want to use more HP now. So now there are definitely better PvE units now, or PvE DPS units now, but I'm just gonna use the best one I have. And same thing for you, you know, just use the best PvE use the best one you have, the best DPS pass you have, and you should be fine. Something like this should work, and you can probably switch it to Spike as well, and for Spike. And for Spike, you can probably just use something like that. That can definitely work as well. So yeah, all right. So yeah, this should be the DPS build for. I mean, the general list. Of course, you know, depending on the boss, you definitely want to just have some variations and changes. You know, because some of the boss might be a bit more finicky, and you might want to have something more survivability on as well. And of course, it will also depend on your team setup as well, right? And for new players, just put on the best HP, or either the best HP parts or the best damage parts you have. That looks like you can work on it, and it should be able to carry you through, you know, posters, because you know this unit can already covers everything, right? So just use it because I don't know what you would have, right? So just use the best DPS parts you have, and you should be fine. And again, this is for 7-star. So 7-star Yoshi. If you don't have 7-star Yoshi, I'd highly recommend, you know, at least get your 7-star, because you know I think it'll be worth it for the most players, even if this unit did came later, you know, than when it was back, you know, back in NC, so back in CN. So alright, now to Nanase Pilot Awaken. So Nanase Pilot Awaken, is she worth it? She is really worth it. Practice skill, just fine damage and good CCs, and that's the reason why I'm actually using, you know, Tuning Coordinate, because look, her job is kind of just to mess up the opponent. So you know, just more CCs and more damage should be fine. And now on to the second skill, which is pretty good for surviving units, or for surviving just surviving overall, right? It will turn invisible every time an enemy units use an action over 10 seconds, which is, you know, usually the kill moves, and it will turn invisible for 2 seconds, and meaning, you know, as long, you know, you won't get directly hit by it, maybe by the AoEs, but you won't get, you know, targeted by it most of the time. And of course, all of your allies will also get, get more damage increase, and the gap of this is 6 seconds, which is very short, and it can really help, you know, her survive in a lot of the situations. And now for this third skill. Now her thirds are quite broken, because every time, you know, first of all, it will increase everyone's anti status effect by 50%, which again is really awesome. I mean, it might not matter that much now, but it is still pretty good skill overall. And when it takes, you know, ice, fire, electric, and acid, it will heal 1.4% of the damage, and within 1 second, it will give this is aura, right? So it will give pretty much everyone on the field anti-4CC's effects, which is again, oh no, not anti-4CC, anti-status effect, which is pretty good. It's basically like it's not exactly a main means Awaken's silver skill, but it is close. But now it is just for everyone on the field, which is pretty good. Pretty good. It's just a really good healing skill for the team. Of course, if the enemy are using normal type, it wouldn't activate anything. But there is a lot of there are a lot of status effect in in Outage, so you wouldn't really worry about this unit being not being able to activate. So yeah, and the guy was 1 second, so pretty awesome. Basically, heal 1.4% every 1 second, which is kind of crazy. And then now for the last skill is also pretty awesome because when enemies are within 7 unit space of the of her, they will lose gravity, and just a really good CC skill. I mean, you can see it in action, right? The enemy will kind of just start blind basically. Yeah, pretty awesome. You can do damage too. So yeah, really good skill. Not yeah. I mean, it's both of it's a CC. It's both offensive and it's defensive. So Nanase is definitely the top support pilot that you should use in your team at the moment because yeah, she is pretty meta, and the builds for her would just be. I mean, she can be on most units because she have good enough survivability skill. I mean, it's not the best, but it's still pretty good. As long as you're putting her on a unit that can tank, like either on Feng Huang or a tanky unit, like even a brawler, right? As long as the units are tanky enough to tank her, to carry her, then you're good. Then you just use her on almost any unit. Again, any unit that can survive on its own without relying on the pilots will be will be enough, right? And I'm using Feng Huang because Feng Huang should be the safest overall because Feng Huang is a support is a support unit, and it can also survive pretty well overall. And the builds would just be the builds for the mecha most of the time, and maybe with a change on the core being refresh core. But of course, on mecha that wants other kind of cores, right? Then some other core might be a little bit more better, but it'll be it'll be up to you to decide in your team and the meta that you fight against to see what is the best, right? And now for combat skill, same thing. You'll usually be tied with your builds of the mecha instead of her, but usually it might be used with her because her defense can cut aggro, which is pretty important for any kind of survivability effects though. Yeah. Now, everything I talk about now are within, the meta of here. So everything I talk about has been, the meta up to this point. The thing I'm showing right now is basically right after, right when Wataru, or around when Wataru releases. Like probably 1 or 2 weeks after Wataru collab releases, and that is my experiences using, using Nanase as well as just using Yoshi, but again Yoshi is way past that point, but this reason why I am or I guess this is my knowledge to this point, and I haven't been doing PvP a lot because I've been very busy with other stuff in life, but overall I don't think it changes that much, and she can still be in I mean, she probably wouldn't be in Feng Huang, but she'll probably be in the new good, the new better units, the tiger units and such, in today's meta and such. So. And of course, in nowadays, Yoshi is usually used in other arenas. It's not really top arena anymore because again, Yoshi is kind of like the new era's staple unit. It's the Gundam of the Gundam franchise, if the Gundam franchise were to be a new meta phase, because again, every unit after this point are basically like have something. It's like another Yoshi, but like have something more because just even the balancing, right? Like you can even see that during some of the balancing of some mecha where it is a lot of different chassis just stack on top of each other and such. So what else am I gonna say? Alright, yeah, just as much into X. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? No, definitely not. I don't know what else I have to talk about. So okay, so yeah, just Magenta X, the new trophy for the Magenta. Not oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Yeah, definitely not worth it. Only worth it if you are say already have 9-star just Magenta, because again, um, I mean it's fine. It's a fine unit, but again, it is nothing like you. I couldn't think of a mode that you would really use it unless you lack units in of course, I mean, of course you can use it in Apex, right? Of course you can use it in Apex, but even in Zenith I think there's too much competitions, I feel like. So yeah, um I mean, it's still usable. I mean, it's just again, competitions, and of course, depending on what you have. If you're an old player who have a lot of just magentas, lying around, let's say you have A-star, then I guess you can consider getting this unit because it's only one copy, and you'll have a good Apex unit to use, overall, right? So, but it is nothing game changing as such. Lingzu is also nothing too game changing. It's definitely not as crazy as when Lingzu just dropped. Um, yeah, I think that's really about it. I think I saw some people use it before, but it's nothing, substantial, right? So yeah, don't waste, if you're a new player and you see the D2 units, yeah, don't waste on a trophy. It is not worth it. Most of the time nowadays. So yeah. All right. What else? What else? What else? Am I missing? What else am I missing? What else? Okay, so I think I had to talk about I, I don't. I think there's a new Awaken, right? A new Awaken. I don't remember. I forgot how much Awaken that I missed, but I see Awaken recently in. I guess Amanda, right? Amanda Awaken. Kind of sad because yeah, Amanda is. I mean, I guess you use it in Apex again. Just the Apex graveyard. I guess you can use it in Apex against like a Mel team or something. I guess. And then I think you can also use it in PvE as like a funnel because like can CC the boss a little bit, I think, or something like that. I don't know how she exactly worked, but yeah, her usage is very limited. But at least she does have some usage, unlike some other Awakens that just completely you know non-exist anymore. So yeah, and I guess Amanda can like, but it's only for top players, right? Top player who know how to use her, who knows how she works, will be able to use her, in the very few times where we can use her. So, alright, so that should cover everything in this, that should cover everything. So, uh, yeah, I think I'll just call it a day now. I don't want this stream to be too long. So yeah, all right. So if you have any questions, just feel free to tag me in our Discord. The links is always in the description. And yeah, see you all next time. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.